CTE is a big problem for MMA fighters, but is there anything we can do? Almost all fighters are concerned about the long-term brain damage the sport can cause, and some have stated that they already suffer from CTE-related problems in their daily lives. How many times have we seen a fighter's career suddenly collapse? And how many times have we seen strange attitudes outside the octagon? Take for example Tony Ferguson, who has repeatedly shown manic and paranoid attitudes in his family life and even in his performances. Regardless of his age, he does not even seem a distant relative of who he was before. But what is CTE? CTE, also known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy, is a degenerative brain disease found in athletes, military veterans and others with history of repetitive brain traumas, and is caused in part by concussion. An MMA match can be brutal, but the problem with CTE is definitely sparring. To prepare for a single MMA fight, the athlete must face hundreds of sparring sessions, which aim to simulate the match. Especially at the beginning of your career, it is impossible to avoid sparring sessions if you want to reach a good level. Instead, we have seen athletes like Max Holloway, after decades of experience, make the decision to stop sparring and train only their techniques, precisely to avoid this problem. But you can only do that if you're already a champion, not if you're trying to make a name for yourself in the MMA world. Another big problem related to CTE is that it cannot be scientifically diagnosed until after death. However, numerous symptoms can occur, such as anxiety, depressions, paranoia, manic control and aggressive behavior. The case of Chris Benoit is probably the most shocking link to CTE. Benoit was a wrestler before he killed his wife, his son and then himself. After his death, it was confirmed that the athlete suffered from a serious case of CTE. Returning to MMA, many think that a possible introduction of headgears in matches could be a solution, but in reality it is not. It could even make things worse. A recent study stated that the number of concussions in Bare Knuckles FC, an organization where you fight without gloves, are significantly lower than those found in traditional MMA or boxing. This is because fighting without gloves increases damage to the face, such as cuts, but it certainly makes the fight last much less on average. There are more flash KOs, but these are less dangerous than repeated concussions when it comes to long-term brain damage. In addition, the use of headgear leads athletes to hit each other several times in the head, increasing the problem. This is why many CTE problems often start from gyms and sparring. There is probably no definitive solution to CTE. It would certainly help to do less sparring, but to reach a certain level it's mandatory. To prepare a football game, you play football. To prepare a fight, you fight. Surely, it would take an increase in the study on the disease to recognize the symptoms earlier and adapt. But it is a degenerative disease and you cannot do much other than to stop the athlete. Let us know your opinions on the topic in the comments.